Conscious Leadership Podcast, the human side of leadership, where consciousness meets practical business leadership. The podcast dives into real challenges managers face, from team motivation to navigating change. Discover actionable insight, proven strategies, and inspiring stories to help you lead with clarity, authenticity, and impact. Whether you are an SME owner, a team leader, or simply passionate about conscious leadership, this podcast will equip you with the tools to build stronger teams, foster trust, and achieve sustainable success. Tune in, lead consciously, and make a difference. Hello, and welcome to a new episode of the Conscious Leadership Podcast. I'm your host, Boris Nedved. Today, I want to tackle a foundational question that affects every organization, every team, and every individual aspiring to make a real impact. What does it actually mean to be a leader, not just a manager? And why do so many fail to lead? We throw around the word leadership as if it's interchangeable with management, and it isn't. And this confusion is not just costing us performance, it's costing us trust, creativity, long-term resilience, and cultural coherence. Let's begin with the manager. A manager is fundamentally a system steward. Their primary function is to ensure order, execution, and control within predefined boundaries. It is a role of control and consistency. A manager monitors KPIs, aligns metrics, allocates resources, hopefully strategically, organizes tasks and workflows, and reduces the risk and ensures process consistency. Managers are indispensable. Without them, businesses collapse. They collapse into chaos. Execution stalls, results flounder, efficiency crumbles. But here's the trap. Being good at managing doesn't qualify to lead. We have seen it 100 times, at least I have seen it 100 times, or even more. Top performers promoted into management roles are then expected to lead, without ever having been taught how to hold vision, how to connect with people energetically, or how to embody trust and coherence. Leadership isn't a bonus. It's a different frequency, a different skill, a different energetic contract, if so to say, with the team and the organization. And let's take it further. Managers are often celebrated for control. Control over output, over team dynamics, over process integrity, over controls. But in a world that's constantly shifting, control has a diminishing return. What organizations truly need now is not more control, but more attunement. When managers over-index on control, it stifles creativity. It undermines trust. It reduces people to bureaucrats instead of inviting them into shared purpose. The consistency that once ensured stability now risks producing rigidity. When best practices become untouchable dogma, when checklists override curiosity, we don't manage, we mechanize, we condition. Control without consciousness breeds fear. Consistency without context breeds irrelevance. Great managers manage through relationship, through energy, through clarity, not just through tools, timelines, and transactional checkpoints, milestones, or whatever. So if you're a manager listening today, you can ask yourself, are you managing outcomes or orchestrating resonance? Are you controlling performance or are you cultivating capacity? Because the evolution of management isn't about abandoning systems. It's about bringing soul into these systems. The future of management lies not in tighter processes, but in broader human understanding. It's about knowing when to hold firm and when to flex, when to step in and when to step back. Control becomes more nuanced. It's about guiding and not gripping all the time. And it's not about micromanaging, for sure not, but about micro-tuning the environment for optimal energy flow. When you learn to manage, not just performance, but presence, not just deliverables, but dynamics, then you step into the kind of management that bridges seamlessly into leadership. Leadership begins where management ends. Leaders don't just handle systems. They hold signals. They tune the frequency of the group. It is a role of vision, resonance, and transmission. A leader inspires action through embodiment. A leader aligns people through values and not control. A leader evokes potential through energetic presence, creates psychological, physiological, and emotional coherence, and speaks not only to strategy, but to meaning and purpose. Leaders navigate ambiguity with grounded confidence. They sense the patterns beneath the surface. They listen not just with ears, but with resonance, with emotions, with their soul. They don't just set direction, they become the direction. While managers measure the what, I think leaders transmit the why and amplify the how. When leadership is present, things move. Not because they are pushed, but because they are pulled. The teams rise to meet the resonance of the leader. And transmission is the real game changer. Leaders don't just speak, they emanate. They emanate the energy, and it's a different energy. Their presence shifts a room before even a word is spoken. Their clarity quiets noise. Their integrity activates trust. Where managers create plans, leaders create fields, positive energy fields, fields of safety, possibility, and coherence. And it's not about charisma. It's about the clarity of their signal, about a resonance that cuts through the resistance. Real leaders don't lead through instruction. They lead through frequency. They shift cultures not by telling people what to do, but by becoming a living example of what's possible. That's why the best leadership doesn't feel like control. It feels like a liberation. Leadership becomes the art of tuning environments to the highest available resonance. These leaders ignite the soul of the business, and they don't just manage the machine. And we come to the question, why so many fail to lead? It's an uncomfortable truth. Our current systems train managers. That's what it does. That's what the whole education system does. They do not develop leaders. Not really, at least. Not in a sustainable, embodied way. Why? Because most leadership pipelines are designed to produce performance, not presence. They elevate output over alignment, optics over embodiment. Leaders are often selected based on metrics, delivery timelines, sales figures, stakeholder management checklists, and so on. Rarely are they chosen for their ability to transmit trust, attune to energy, or amplify collective potential. Let's call it what it is. It's institutionalized leadership mimicry. We promote individuals who look like leaders, who speak the jargon, attend the workshops, and pass the assessments. But underneath their title, they are often disconnected from their core values. They are unaware of their natural energetic signature. They are unable to create emotional coherence across their teams. And they are reliant on structures instead of embodying the state. This results in a leadership epidemic of imitation. Buzzwords instead of embodiment. You hear it everywhere. New buzzword every week at least. That's what I read. Vision statements that don't resonate. They are pure like buzzword assembly. Check-ins that feel like checklists. And cultures where people conform to survive instead of grow to contribute. Let's not forget the psychological toll. Many leaders nowadays, and I've spoken about it in previous podcast episodes and just read the internet posts and messages and statistics. Many leaders beneath their polished performance are exhausted. They are overextended. They are silently questioning whether they even want to lead, but feel trapped by expectation, the status or the sunk costs, or whatever the KPIs are given by the companies. When leadership becomes something you perform, not something you are, the disconnect is inevitable. This is the root cause of the burnout epidemic, the trust gap, the disengagement crisis. It's not just that leaders are failing to lead. It's that they were never allowed to lead from who they truly are. The path to conscious leadership requires unlearning far more than it requires new tactics. It asks for radical self-honesty, your own energetic recalibration, your deep resonance with your own purpose, and the courage to disrupt the system. Disrupt the system that rewards control over connection. So if you've ever felt like you're acting the part instead of being the part, you're not alone. There are many, many out there. But it means you're waking up. And that's where the real leadership begins. Real leadership begins with self-awareness. All meaningful leadership transformation begins not with external techniques, but with internal truth. Who are you? You cannot lead others effectively until you have met, accepted, and embodied your own energetic essence. And yet, this is the one place traditional leadership development refuses to go. They don't accept quantum mechanics and quantum physics revelations. Most leadership models begin with frameworks and behaviors, and that's it. You follow frameworks, you follow behavior that is given by somebody else. It's a copy-paste activity. Conscious leadership begins with frequency, your frequency. It asks, what is the energetic quality of your leadership? Are you creating coherence or unknowingly transmitting chaos? Are your words congruent with your vibration? Are your decisions rooted in strategy or your inner knowing? This is where the tools I work with, Human Design, BG5, OC16, and my own developed Nexus Key framework, radically shift the leadership conversation. These aren't assessments. They're activators. They don't tell you what to fix. They reveal what to trust in you. They unlock what leadership truly looks like for you. Your decision-making strategy based on biological and energetic alignment, not mental over-analysis. Your unique role in a team or in teams, from the signal carrier to the stabilizer to the visionary disruptor. The conditions that either drain your leadership or amplify your transmission. Imagine leading, knowing when to speak, when to pause, when to invite, when to inform. Because this is embedded in your design, in your inner core. Imagine not managing performance through pressure, but inspiring action through natural coherence. Your own coherence to your own natural energy field. Leadership doesn't need another workshop. It needs the reconnection to the inner you. Self-awareness in this context isn't conceptual, it's cellular. It's the difference between acting like a leader and feeling like one, forcing motivation and awakening momentum, leading from the mind or leading from your inner core. And once that awareness lands, everything changes. Your presence becomes magnetic. Your team starts trusting their own voice because you have modeled how. Decision-making speeds up because clarity isn't confused by external noise. Communication becomes clearer, cleaner, deeper, more impactful. Because it's not longer scripted. It's you, authentically you talking to them. This is what I mean when I say leadership is not taught. It's calibrated, it's unlocked, it's deconditioned. When you are in alignment with you, with who you truly are, leadership stops being a function and becomes your field. And that field, that's what others feel before they ever hear a word from you. True conscious leadership isn't measured. It's measured in performance reviews, KPIs, 360-degree feedback surveys, and so on and so on. It's felt. It's sensed. You can feel it. Your team can feel it. It shows up in the energy of the room before you even say a word. You don't start with outcomes. You start with inner diagnostics. Here are some questions for managers aspiring to become leaders and who want to step beyond control and into the coherence field. When I enter a room, what happens to the energy? Does the room tense up, or does it breathe deeper? This isn't about charisma, it's about energetic regulation. Your nervous system either co-regulates or destabilizes the system around you. Am I managing behavior, or am I amplifying alignment? Are you constantly correcting, coaching, and pushing? Or are you guiding people back to their own inner authority and clarity? One creates dependency, the other creates empowerment. Do I lead with presence or with performance? Is your leadership style rooted in scripts, personas, and borrowed frameworks? Or are you connected to your own natural rhythm, intuition, and frequency? Presence isn't learned, it's remembered from deep within you. Am I energetically congruent with my message? Are you saying one thing and feeling another? Teams sense that disconnect. Misalignment between words and energy creates mistrust, even if you never raise your voice. Do I know my own leadership blueprint and lead from it? Have you explored your energetic makeup, your human design, BG5 or the 16 career type, decision-making strategy, whatever it is? Or are you still leading from generic models and advice strings that have nothing to do with your actual frequency? Am I acting from fear, or am I leading from wholeness? Fear-based leadership shows up as over-functioning, micromanaging, staying always on, being always connected, omnipresent. Conscious leadership trusts the process. It leads from internal spaciousness, not external urgency. Is my team thriving energetically, or just surviving functionally? People can hit numbers while burning out. They can perform while feeling unseen. Real leaders track energy, engagement, joy, creativity, trust, and not just the output. When conflicts arise, do I collapse, control, or hold? Conscious leaders don't rush to fix or flee. They hold the space, they inquire, they regulate themselves so their teams can co-regulate through them. These aren't performance questions. These are presence questions. Because leadership isn't just about what you know. It's about how you be. So what does it really take to evolve from a manager into a conscious leader? This isn't a linear promotion or checklist of skills. It's an energetic shift from my perspective. A transformation from operating within systems to becoming the signal that recalibrates them. We don't need to eliminate management. We need to transcend it. Because in today's volatile, hyper-connected world, it's not just outcomes that need managing. It's energy that needs a lead. Attention, emotional climate. Unseen dynamics that make or break a team long before strategy or metrics ever show it. Conscious leadership isn't just better management with empathy. It's fundamentally different paradigm. We need leaders who transcend performance management to become the presence and energetic field management. We need leaders who don't just coach their team, but catalyze them, take their energy, amplify it. Leaders who aren't addicted to certainty, but grounded in their own clarity. Leaders who don't just hold meetings, they hold a space for the others to be able to breathe. This shift demands self-awareness, yes. But more than that, it demands self-resonance. The ability to be so aligned with your own frequency, values, and natural leadership type that your presence, your being alone, shifts the emotional and intellectual coherence of the group. That means you don't enforce action. You amplify the alignment. You don't motivate others. You create the conditions for intrinsic ignition of everybody. You don't walk into a room to prove value. You walk in and everything calibrates around you. To do that, you must move beyond inherited templates of leadership. You must discard outdated paradigms of strong equals stoic or directive equals effective. Instead, you learn to lead from your energetic center, not your role. Speak from embodiment, not memorization through your memory, what you learned. Listen for resonance, not just response. And trust your own timing, not just urgency given by somebody else. This is where my Nexus Key framework comes in. It's mapping not just what you should do, but who you are underneath all that noise. You identify your intrinsic leadership style and learn how to lead in a way that aligns with how you process energy, make your own decisions, and therefore influence systems, people around you, if it's family, colleagues, peers, leaders, managers that you have. You stop trying to improve your leadership. You start remembering it. This is the leap from doing to being, from behavior to frequency, from agenda to alignment. Because for me, the future of business doesn't belong to the best planners. It belongs to the best resonators. Those who can hold complexity without collapsing. Those who can speak from the signal, not just the script. Those who can lead not through pressure, but through presence. That's the true evolution from management to conscious leadership. It's not about having the answers. It's about becoming the signal others can trust to ask better questions. And when you do, people don't just follow you. They rise with you. You bring them up. You grow, they grow. So here's my challenge. Are you managing people, or are you actually leading them? Do you execute agendas, or do you shape possibilities? Are you transmitting safety, or signaling survival? Real leadership doesn't push. It pulls, it aligns, it activates. And that starts with knowing who you are and leading from there. If you're ready to explore your energetic leadership design and move from performance into presence, you know where to find me. And furthermore, you can get a free leadership reflection guide that I assembled. And you can find the link in the podcast post. So, thank you for tuning in. Until the next time, stay intentional, stay conscious, and keep leading with purpose from your inside out. Thank you for listening to the Conscious Leadership Podcast. Look forward to the next episode to come and stay intentional, stay conscious, and keep leading with purpose. Until the next time, bye.